What's up, friends? Today we're going to be taking a look at these and these, the Momentum Boards hollow wheels. You've probably heard of them, maybe you've seen them posted on the forum or on Reddit or something, but maybe you don't know too much about them. So today we're going to do a quick unboxing of these to show you the beautiful experience that Doug has prepared for us. We're going to talk about the Black Friday sale coming up, and I'm also going to show you guys the efficiency test for the Momentum Boards Hollow Wheels Pro, which are currently on my board right now. So let's jump right into it.
Make my heart beat super fast.
All right, guys, so let's get into things. The first thing I want to talk about is the Black Friday deal that we've got going on. Doug was kind enough to make me an affiliate for the Momentum Boards Hollow Wheels, and I'm very grateful for that because these things are awesome and I totally think you should go grab a pair. Now, what does that entail? So, first of all, if you go through checkout and you decide you want to buy a set of these wheels, you can get an extra 5% off your whole purchase by using the code RBEMotion, and I'll put it on screen right here, and I'll probably put some B-roll of the website for this next part. Also, I will get some kickback to help support the channel if you put in RBEMotion as the representative before you go to checkout. So that would be super awesome if you do that for me, and I would really appreciate it. So in other news, the actual Black Friday deal is going on. I've got it here on my phone because it's a multi-tiered deal. There are a number of bonuses that you can get by purchasing within the period of now until the 29th of November. So tier 1, I'm going to put them on the screen here, but tier 1 you get some extra gifts, $15 extra. You get belts. Tier 2 you get free suspension inserts, which I haven't used yet but we'll be looking at in a future video. You get some belts and some bearings, and then tier 3 you've got suspension insert, belts, bearings, and pulleys, which is a pretty good deal if you ask me. And that's if you purchase the Hollow Wheels Pro. Now, there's a couple things to know. First of all, the Comfort Hollow Wheels, which are in this box that I'll be opening in a minute, they are shipping next year. And I know people are probably a little bit upset about that, but there were some issues with the batch 1, and they're not holding up to heavier weights and high carving. So to fix that delamination issue, Doug has stopped selling those ones, and he's gone and fixed that. So the next batch of those will be shipping later, but you can pre-order them now. And for someone like me who pre-ordered these wheels in 2019, and I did get them, so I mean, not everyone likes pre-orders, but I think it is a pretty safe bet that you'll get your product. And Doug is super reasonable, and he's always been super full of information, giving us updates and letting us know what's going on. So I trust him, and I think your money would be safe pre-ordering these if you choose to get a set. The other thing to mention is that the Hollow Wheels Pro, which are the super grippy ones that I used on the track, they're automotive rubber, and they're super grippy. Those are shipping now. So if you get a set of those, you should get them within a reasonable amount of time. So anyways, that's all the sale information, and if you have any questions about it, just hit me up or leave a comment down below and I'll be happy to answer those. One thing to mention here super quick, the way that you can tell if you have the Pro or the Comfort is by the tag on the front. On the Comfort wheels, it will say hardware 1, and on the Pro wheels, it will say hardware 2. The second part is your cores. You can ask for mixed cores, or you can ask for a set of 4 of the same kind. Now, the mixed will be 2 Abec, 2 Kegel, and then the other one will be whichever one you choose. One final note before we unbox these. This one box was damaged a little bit in shipping. Hopefully that won't happen to yours, but it is completely a non-issue besides ruining the look of the box. So I didn't tell Doug about this, and he said he'll try to look into it, but most likely it was just a fluke. All right, let's get these unboxed. Here we have the beautiful printed box from Momentum Boards. On the front, you got a nice graphic of the wheels on a presumably boosted board. And on the back, you got some nice details about the benefits to these wheels. Got your adjustable suspension. We're going to take that out in a couple minutes here with the metal rods that you can put in. You got your diameter, which is 101 to 103 or something like that. I can't remember. They're highly comfortable, and the idea is to provide the best grip while also not sacrificing battery efficiency. So we'll see how that goes later in this video. Let's get these opened. Now we've got the plastic off. Go ahead and get inside. That nice slow drop. Could even describe this unboxing experience as Apple-like. Look at that, beautiful. Got a nice pamphlet here. Inside here, we've got a informational booklet that would be highly useful for you to check out if you don't know what you're doing here. It tells you how to use these suspension inserts. There's a nice link here that goes to their website, and there's really great description of how to use the suspension insert. Some information on bearings, alignment, spacers, and some other information about prolonging lifespan and warranty. And then you've got a whole backside of warranty policies there. Very nice and professional, well written, and extremely useful. Now we've got the beauties themselves, the Hollow Wheels Comfort Edition. In the center here, we're going to have all of our suspension inserts, which you will see in a bag. We've got some wheels, speed rings, and you've got your suspension inserts. You will have to provide bearings unless you get the Black Friday deal and they come with bearings, or you buy them on their site. And then nicely nestled in here, we've got the Momentum wheels, hollow wheels even. And I can tell right off the bat that these are different compounds than the Pros just by the way they feel. They definitely feel like rubber, but they're not quite the same. I think they feel a bit softer too. Real quick, let's just pop this out. And there you can see your suspension insert. It looks pretty nice. And I'll just demonstrate how to take that out in a second here. And that is your two-piece wheel. These set of 4 are all Kegel pattern. So I'll be using a Kegel pulley with these. All right, so there is a guide for how to do this on Doug's YouTube channel, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop this out. Basically, you wanna use a screwdriver, lightly pry around the edges, and you can start to pull it out. It's kind of hard to pull out, but it's doable. And if you want to run them without it, kind of necessary. You just go around, slowly pulling it up against the core, and there we go. Perfect. This piece is pretty tough. Feels interesting. Looks injection molded. And there is the inside of the hollow wheel. There's not really a ton else to say here about these. I'm going to try riding these with the suspension inserts removed first, and then I will get a efficiency test for that, and then we'll do it with the suspension in, and we'll see what kind of difference that makes. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the second one out, and then they'll be ready for when I do that efficiency test. So hopefully you enjoyed this little unboxing and informational part. Now you will be able to see the efficiency test for the Hollow Wheels Pro right now. Alright, what's up guys? Today we're going to be out here testing out the hollow wheels from Momentum Boards. Specifically the Pro variant, which is the slightly different compound meant for more grip, more responsiveness, and better track feel. Now today we're going to be out here doing our efficiency tests. We're on our standard efficiency test route at the standard speeds, and fortunately today we got lucky and there's like no wind, so this is perfect. We've got a beautiful day here in San Diego. It's somewhere in the 70s, and let's just start talking about these wheels. These hollow wheels from Momentum Boards have been a multi-year project, and I am one of the people who is able to get their set already. There are a lot of people out there that have not had their sets shipped yet, and there are some reasons for that, and I recommend you go ahead and check out the blog that our friend Doug over at Momentum Boards keeps updated. I'll put a link on screen right now of where you can check that out. He always puts the latest information there, and he's definitely the better source to get reliable information from rather than me, because he knows exactly what's going on. So anyway, I have both sets of the hollow wheels, the Comfort and the Pro, and I'm going to be doing efficiency tests on both with and without the suspension inserts if I manage to have time. That's a lot of work, but I'm going to try and get it done for you guys because I think it is a valuable thing to know. So right now we're in the first segment of the ride, riding between 15 and 20 miles an hour, and I have to say these wheels feel amazing. Now there's a couple of things you're going to notice about these wheels when you start handling them and riding them. One, the grip is extreme, and when I say extreme, I mean these are the grippiest street wheels I've ever ridden on, even including the Onzra super soft wheels and other rubber wheels. Now these are technically a rubber compound. I don't know what exactly that compound is, but Doug says that it is a compound that is used in automotive tires, and it just so happens that this compound works out great for these wheels. Now, other facts about these, they are called hollow wheels because they are in fact hollow. The wheel comes in two pieces, with the outer piece fitting into the inner piece, and the wheel nut locks the two pieces together and holds it all securely in place. Now there is a small crack, I don't know if you would call it a crack, a gap maybe, on the wheel itself where those two halves join, and that has always kind of sketched me out because it feels like it could pop off or come apart, but in my riding so far I have been convinced otherwise. I think that it is just fine and you don't have to worry about it, but that is one thing you'll notice on these wheels. There's a crack on there. It is intentional. There's supposed to be a gap, and don't have to worry about it. The interlock between the outer and inner parts seems pretty decent to me. Obviously you've got the core holding it together as well, so yeah, pretty decent construction overall, and personally I think the aesthetics of them are awesome. I really like the colors that they chose for the Hollow Wheels logo and stripes on the outside. It does remind me of the boosted 105s, which is cool because I liked the coloring on those as well. Now let's talk about the first thing with these wheels: impact protection, or not impact protection, impact absorption. One of the things these wheels claim to do is have extremely good impact protection. I can tell you that is accurate. All the bumps that you feel on these wheels, that hollow cavity inside does a really good job of absorbing the impact and spreading it out throughout the wheel. I'll try and get some closer up shots for the full review on these, but in my experience so far, impact reduction and absorption has been really, really good. And obviously, as one of the selling points of the wheel, that is a great thing to hear. So we're A+ on that part. I would say compared to a pneumatic tire, it's a very different kind of impact absorption. Like, you still feel it, but it doesn't feel bad and it doesn't throw you off the board like it can with a hard urethane wheel. Now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about vibration absorption. Now, one thing you guys will know if you have been watching my videos is that the boosted 105s / Mad Eastgate 105s are currently my favorite street wheel. Now, one of the things that people don't like about those wheels is that they have voids in the back, and those voids can create a slight vibration that you may feel while riding it on the street, especially on smooth pavement. Now, these wheels have absolutely none of that, which is an awesome thing because these are pretty much the perfect version of the boosted 105 wheel, and they come in at around the same size as well. I believe when I measured it, it was like 102 millimeters. So I don't know why they're called the 105s, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, the vibration absorption is great, and you don't get any additional vibration from the design of the wheel like you do to some extent with the Mad Eastgate 105s. Now, we're going to stop for a second here so I can show you a close-up of these wheels. These wheels are very soft when it comes to rubber absorption, and it may feel hard in your hand, but once they start warming up, you can see that there's rocks and stuff like stuck on the wheel, and those will continue to fly off as you ride. But the fact of the matter is, these have so much grip that the surface you're on really makes a difference. And you can see on the back here, maybe you can see, the contact patch when you're going straight is different than when you're cornering. So in this next part, we're going to test out the grip on these. And obviously I know it's very good already, but as you corner, as you carve, the wheel will deform a little bit and allow you to get even more contact patch as you carve. And that is a very unique aspect of these wheels. I think that is a major selling point, is the grip. Now, as I've said before, I'm not like the biggest carver in the world, but when I do, it's pretty fun, and I have the most confidence on these wheels out of any wheel that I've tried so far, excluding pneumatics. I would say the feel is very different to pneumatics because of the size difference, but I'm very, very confident on these, and they're super grippy. So I'm still trying to formulate my grip for wheels test jig, and hopefully I can figure that out before the full review of these so I can compare it to the Mad Eastgate wheels and the comfort version of the hollow wheels. But today you're just gonna have to go with these grip really well and they're the best of any street wheel I've tested. You might have heard me mention that this isn't my first ride, or allude to that, and it isn't. I've been riding these for a little bit, maybe got like 20-30 miles on them, and this is just when I had time to do this efficiency test and first thoughts. I'm going to continue riding these until I've acquired 100 miles on them, and then we'll switch over to the Hollow Wheels Comfort Edition and do 100 miles on those, and then after that we'll do a review comparing the two and give you my thoughts on one versus the other. These wheels are really great. Now, I keep saying that, but I can't stress enough how great these feel. Now, the thing is, I'm not riding with the suspension insert right now, and from my understanding, it does a couple things. One, it makes the wheel a little bit more dense, a little bit more heavy, and it changes the ride feel so that people who are heavier don't deflect the wheel as much. That's my understanding anyway. You can obviously read up on it on the Momentum Board's website and see what the official statement is, but that's my understanding. And I've heard some people report that they haven't had super great efficiency with these wheels. I think your weight does depend on the efficiency a little bit because you know, deflection equals more rolling resistance, which in turn equals a less efficient ride. So for me, at 170 or 165 pounds, we're not going to be experiencing a ton of deflection. And for me, it works out really well because I already know the approximate efficiency number in my head. We're gonna get it on this ride, but it's very good and very comparable to urethane instead of comparable to rubber, which is what this is made of. So that's pretty great. So in my eyes, off the cuff, these wheels are an improvement over the boosted 105s in pretty much every single way. And we'll see at the end of this ride how the efficiency does. So I'm just going to take some clips and I'll meet up with you guys when I'm done. Alright, just checking in here real quick. One thing I also want to mention is that these wheels are super maneuverable because of the fact that the contact patch when you're riding straight is very small. It ends up giving you a really nice and maneuverable board, allowing you to make really quick turns, and it really just feels super snappy. I think one thing that people might experience is that with the suspension inserts, it might be a little bit less snappy, which could be good, it could be bad. It's all up to rider preference. And I think that is also a beautiful thing, is that you have the suspension insert, you have the weights. You can tune your wheels to be exactly how you want them to be. Right now we are rolling down the large hill that occurs in my test route, and the rolling resistance on these is super low. The thing with rubber wheels is, since the rubber tends to deflect more, a lot of the rubber wheels have a higher rolling resistance, and you can definitely feel that on ones like the Andra. With these, they feel very similar to urethane, and that's definitely saying something. That probably is part of what attributes to the good efficiency that these get, and it definitely attributes to a nice free roll ride. I think if you put in the suspension insert, you're going to have even more free roll. We're here on Bumpy Bridge, and I'll tell you, the vibration and impact of these bumps is absorbed pretty well by these wheels, just driving that point home. Alright guys, we have come to the end of the efficiency test, and it's time to pull out the old phone and see what efficiency we've got. Let's see. Switch over to Meter Pro. Stop the recording. We've got an efficiency of 25.9 watt-hours per mile. Now, that is pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's the most excellent compared to things like urethane, where we get around 20 watt-hours per mile, but it's still pretty good. It's not in the 30s, and these are rubber wheels, so that is kind of to be expected. I think on this setup without the suspension insert, we'll experience a higher drain than with the suspension insert. So I'll be sure to check out at least one ride where I compare the suspension insert to riding without it. So there you go, 25.9. And only other thing I have to say is be sure to go ahead and check out the Black Friday sale for the hollow wheels. There's a tiered sale going on, and I'm going to put the info in the description to make sure you guys can see that. I believe I mentioned it earlier in the video as well. So in any case, these wheels have been awesome. I really like them, and I'm excited to try out the comfort wheels to see what the difference is between those and these. Maybe they'll be even more comfortable. Kind of hard to imagine getting better than these, but hey, we'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, keep on riding, and peace out.